why the meals tax question was put to the voters, and as Jeff said, this would be a very different conversation if that had been successful, but we are constrained in the revenues that we have available to us. Also, I just would like to make it clear that assessment means the market value of your home, and so it just means how much more or less you could sell your home for based on the market value of properties, like properties. So I just wanted to explain what that means. Several other board members have asked to be recognized, Supervisor Faust and Supervisor Gross.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just wanted to say that I will be supporting the county executive's proposed rate as our advertised rate, and the reason I'm doing that this year, in the past, as many members of this board have voted to advertise a higher rate than the county executive proposed, I never did that thinking that it was just, just to put something out there. I always thought that it was possible that we could go to the higher rate. Didn't always think we would, but the discussion was going to be had. This year, given the property tax increases over the past couple years and the continuing stagnation in the local economy, I don't think there's a scenario under which this board will ultimately approve a tax rate increase. And therefore, I think it would be extremely unfair to our citizens, to advocates for services, to create a sense that they were communicating to us about how to spend money we're not going to have. I think, I don't think this turns people against each other in terms of our budget, but it certainly does put us in a position of having to prioritize, because we know that the demands are greater than the revenues that are available. And I think this does not mean we're not going to have a discussion. We usually justify a higher tax rate in order to have the discussion. I think we're going to have a discussion. It's going to be a very productive discussion. It's going to be based on the $4 billion that the advertised rate will raise, and how we as a community should spend that money and where our priorities are. So I think I look forward to the discussion over the next 2 months, and I do believe that although I think the county executive did a wonderful job as usual in putting together an advertised budget, that there are things that we'll be able to accomplish that will make it perhaps an even better budget by the time we mark it up. I look forward to working with everyone on trying to accomplish that.
Thank you, Supervisor Faust. Supervisor Gross.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I, too, am going to support the main motion and not the amendment, but as we've had the discussion, I've been thinking back. I believe this is my 22nd budget. Only a couple of them have been easy. In the 2005-2006 time frame, we actually reduced the tax rate to 88 cents because we were flying high. And we didn't have very many decisions to make in those days. We could do it all. Lots of new programs, lots of, we were really feeling good. And was it ever going to stop? Well, it stopped. It stopped really hard. And we went back to what I remember as my first budget, the FY97 budget in 1996, which was
doomsday budget.
It was a doomsday budget. The recommendation was to raise the rate by 17 cents, so we wouldn't have to raise it again for a while. We actually raised it 7 cents, and as a brand new member of the board, I thought was seeing my life go, pass before my eyes, because I thought I'll never be able to explain this. I'll never be able to survive this. We make really thoughtful decisions on budgets. We have to. That's what we are charged with. This is a disciplined, responsible budget proposal. It's a hard one. it's a tough one. And Mr. Long, since last year, I know I've been talking to you about don't raise taxes, don't raise taxes. Thank you for listening to me, even though it's hard for me even to say don't raise taxes because we have a lot of needs. I'm very disappointed that the MRA, Diversion First, the DD and ID grads are not funded the way we would like to fund them. But one of the things that really tough decisions make you do, and I've seen it time after time after time, is look for the innovation. And that's one of the things we're very good at, is finding the innovations in whatever we're doing, trying to, and we have to change. And we've seen a number, I mean, if I look back and look today, the changes that we've made just in the processes, in what we do and how we do it and how we work with our nonprofits, it's been innovation over and over. And so I too do not wish to set up unrealistic expectations, because I think going, advertising a higher rate gives people the thought that, oh, we're going to do all of these things. We can't. We can still have the conversation. What we're doing, we'll have the conversation within parameters of the budget that has been proposed. And we're going to have to go through that budget, and we're going to have to really, I think of it almost as a soup kettle, trying to, how much do we put into it? How much seasoning do we do? What do we then take out of it? Is it, if we season it too much, do we have to put in some more vegetables, whatever? It's probably a silly analogy, but it is something that we need to, within that pot, we have to figure out how we're going to feed our county. And so I'm confident that we can do that. We can feed our county what they need within the budget that has been proposed. So I will not be supporting the amendment to increase to $1.15. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Gross. And I will speak, lastly, I'm going to support the main motion, not the amendment. And in previous years, I might have been making the argument for advertising some flexibility, but this year I think by advertising a higher tax rate, I think we're raising expectations unfairly within the community, thinking that we would actually then raise the tax rate. And I just don't think that a majority of the board is willing to do that this year. Last year, this board increased the tax rate by 4 cents, which was as much as the advertised increase. And we were able to do a lot of great things by doing that and bringing much of our teacher salaries up to market, but not completely, and we understand that. There are a lot of things that we would like to do as far as, more, increasing funding for public safety, for human services. But I think that we have to be fair to the taxpayer and the taxpayer's ability to be able to live affordably in Fairfax County. And I'm afraid that, we would be raising expectations falsely if we were to advertise something higher this year, because I think that is not something that I think the majority of the board is actually willing to do. With that, the motion is on the amendment to increase the advertised tax rate by an additional 2 cents from $1.13 to $1.15. All those, and we're going to have a voice vote, all those in favor of that motion say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Nay. And we'll start with Supervisor Stork. If you could say your name and your vote.
Supervisor Stork, aye.
Cook, nay.
Hutchins, aye.
McKay, nay.
Gross, nay.
Faust, nay.
Smith, aye.
Linda Smith, nay.
Harity, nay.
And the chair votes nay. And now the motion is on the main motion, and that is to advertise the budget as advertised by the county executive, which is based on a real estate tax rate of $1.13 per $100 of assessed value. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.